I am excited to show you another really cool flow that you can build with FluxPrompt. We are going to build an ROI calculator. I wanted to build this so that I could show our potential clients how much time and money we could save them if they use FluxPrompt. So after I created it, I thought this would make a really great demo of some of the cool features that we have here. Now, what you're looking at here is not actually a flow. I'm also excited to introduce to you guys our very first version of Flux Prompt forms. The forms are amazing because you can create a flow and but then you can create simple UIs that you or your team or your clients can interface with and use AI without getting into the nitty-gritty details of how complicated AI systems or how simple AI systems can be. So in this form, this is our ROI calculator, and I've already filled in some of this information. We've got the company name, a contact name. This is all fake, by the way, email address, and then a task description. In this case, it's creating and optimizing Google ad campaigns. And then we ask how many employees are typically involved in creating this task once, how many hours does it take to create this task, how many times per month do you run this task, and the cost per hour. So we're going to hit submit because it takes a second to kind of do all of the things that it does. And then I'm going to take you through the all of the details of how we created this. So I'm excited about this. Okay, any second now. Perfect. So here's our ROI report. Dear Lisa, thank you for considering Flux Prompt. As you can see here, we are highly confident that FluxPrompt can create an automated workflow tailored to your Google Ads campaign needs. Based on our experience with similar use cases, we estimate that our platform can save you 85% of the work currently involved in these tasks. By implementing FluxPrompt Professional, which is ideal for small teams, right? So as you can see, it even talks about which pricing plan would be good for their team, and an estimated annual savings would be $5,400 just for that one specific task that we put into this form. And then it talks about the next steps of uh, setting up just a demo using our calendar link here. And then afterwards, it gives the detailed calculations, current manual process costs, how much FluxPrompt costs, the direct labor cost. This is like other savings that you can have, efficiency and accuracy gains, and total annual savings. So it kind of breaks it all down for you. Pretty cool stuff. And this is my first take on this flow. There's more that I can do to improve on it. Okay, now let's take you through all of the details. Here is the flow. Again, this flow might look a little bit gnarly, but it's very, very simple. What I'm going to, before you can understand this flow real quick, I'm going to introduce you to two new nodes, the API input and the API output. Now, I'm not going to talk into detail of these. These are great because if you connect these into your flow, then you can actually call this flow from anywhere, from your website, from your app, anything that you would want to do to call into this flow. So one of our clients, they recently created a UI for their internal website where their employees can interact with the employee handbook and other materials that the company makes available to their 1,000 employees. And they created all of the bot infrastructure in FluxPrompt and then use these API inputs and outputs to call it from within their internal website. So it's very powerful, really cool nodes. All right, so in this case right here, you will see that I've essentially, going back to this form, each one of these is basically a field in our flow: company name, contact name, email address, and that's each one of those has an API input because well, we have to input information. We have to input a company name or contact name, etc. So that's why we use these API inputs. Now, if you want to, once you've created this flow with a bunch of API inputs, you can add test prompts in here. So then you can be testing your flow before you actually publish a form. So that's how you do that here. Now, the other thing you'll see in this flow is that I have added just a description of what we're feeding into the AI system. So in this case, we say this is the company name, and then the input will be underneath it. And then in this case, well, this is the contact's name, and then again an API input to intake the contact's name. The same thing with email address and description. This is the task to be completed. The employee task, the employees on task title. This is the number of employees it takes to perform the task. Total hours, you get the point. Number of times per week, and cost per hour. Those are all of my fields and little descriptions for each one of those APIs inputs. So now, why is this important? Because what I'm doing is I'm feeding all of this information into this AI flow, but I want you to look at how it is fed, right? So as you can see, it's kind of all fed into one kind of clump, right? This is the company name, Global Reach Marketing. This is the contact's name, Michael Chen. This is the contact's email address, right? And so all of this information is fed into the AI system, and now the AI system understands what each piece of information is. If I didn't have these specific titles, then the AI system might get a little bit confused. Most likely it would still figure it out, but these are very helpful to just clarify. Now in the future, we're probably going to introduce other features to make it so this isn't necessarily needed, right? But for now, that's kind of one way to make it very clear. Okay, now the next thing that I'm doing here is I'm putting all of these fields in order, specifically in order, just make sure that you recognize that. And I'm putting those into one text box. Why? Well, I don't have to do that, but if I didn't do that, then I would have to connect every one of these fields to every single AI node that I'm going to use in this flow. Instead, though, if I put them all into one text box, then I'm combining everything to one text box, and then I can just connect this text box to wherever I need to. This makes it a lot easier. Okay, perfect. So the next thing is, remember how in flows, I like to talk about inputs first and then the AI generation. So here's all the form information that we're going to be feeding into our AI flow. The next thing is information about enhanced AI, because, well, the AI needs to understand what it's going to be selling and how what it's going to provide for the customer. The other thing that I included in here was the pricing, our current enhanced AI pricing. The reason I did that is so that it could be taken into account for the ROI report. And then the last thing is I just included some instructions, right? The instructions for this flow or this report should be a short overview of the report. It should outline confidence level that we can create an automated flow for the use case and the percentage of work we would save for them, right? Because I want to make sure that people know that this isn't a fake thing. This is actually being thought about by AI and being calculated by AI. A summary of annual savings without calculations, just the totals, next steps. Anyway, so just instructions on how I want this report to look like. And then of course, after the next steps, like this is, we want them to schedule a time with a demo, and then I gave it a link here. Then I included a signature. Brad Moss is our CEO. And then I wanted them to actually showcase the detailed calculations. The first few ROIs that I was creating, they were doing the details at the front, but I didn't want to bury the lead. I wanted to focus on the savings, and then talk about the overall savings, and then talk about the details. And then what I did is I provided it with just a simple example of what it could look like, right? So anyway, there you go. All right, so then what I did is I fed every one of these into our first AI node, right? The first one, right here, the content, as you can see, I fed the form information, I fed the enhanced AI company information, and the pricing. And then down here, because this is instructions, I fed it into the instructions section of this node. I'm going to zoom in here so that you can kind of see what's going on here. Okay, great. Now, then I just asked it to do, the following information are answers from the form on our website. This form is filled out by potential customers. From this information, we need to create an ROI, right? And so we just kind of talked about that. Make sure the ROI report is addressed to the contact name. Gave it a few extra instructions. Okay. So the first thing it did is it created this first draft of our ROI report. And because an ROI report, I wanted to make sure that it was accurate as possible. I added an extra step. This one is basically an analysis. So this is the written ROI report. Then I asked it, I want you to check this. I fed it all of the same information and this, and said, check all of this information and just make sure that it's right. Tell us what we should keep, what can be improved, what should be removed. And as you can see in here, it did just that. It went through each section and basically said, oh, you can keep this. Here's the overview. You can keep that. You should remove some things. You can improve some of these things. And then the last thing that I did is I asked it to rewrite the ROI report after considering all of the different the analysis. And so then I've been testing this, and it's been doing a really solid job. Now it comes up with really great information, and it's accurate and representative of our company. And then the last thing is I connected to the output. The output is going to be it's basically this information, but this is when we call the API. It's basically saying this is what it's going to display as the output. I could actually put in a bunch of other things in here, and it would display it as an output if we wanted to, but this is what we wanted to focus on. Okay, so now we've built our flow. This is really exciting. The next thing is that we can take this flow right here, press on this menu, and click on create a new form. Okay, and when we do that, then a new form will be created underneath here, and you will be introduced to a new UI that you can see here. It's pretty cool. It's very similar to what we have in terms of, like, we've got all of our tools here on the left side, and as you can see here, they're drag and drop. So we have a way to add a title. We have short text that you can add, and I believe I have it in this form right here. We have the title, we have short text where you can have another subtitle and then like an explanation of what it is, or you can add another longer description if you want. Or you can add an image. Oh, I should have done that. I didn't do that for this demo, but you can add an image to kind of just make this look nicer. You can add lists, and then so let's take you through this. So first I added a title, and as you can see here, that's the title, just makes it look as a title for the page. Then I added another section in here to just explain what this form does. And then what I did is going back to the flow over here, I added all of the inputs, right? All of these inputs. I dragged an input box out into here, and that's where you can name your input and you can add subtitles. I didn't do it for the contact name or the email address because those were pretty self-evident. So, but this one, right, you've got describe the task you would like to replace with AI, how many employees are typically involved, and as you can see here, you'll see all of these descriptions or sub-descriptions are here in this form. Okay, and then the next thing is you can also preview it in here just to double check to see if the form is looking the way that you like. And once you're ready to go, you can publish your changes, and you can publish these internally, so only people from your team that have access to FluxPrompt can see them, or you can publish it externally, and then you can copy that link and you can share that link. If you publish it externally, you can share that link with anybody you want. And then you can publish the changes, and then your form is now available to the world. So it's very, very cool. This is the first version of this. We have so many plans to improve this, to make it look much better, and lots of really cool new features for it coming later. But I was just really excited about this stuff, so I wanted to get this out so that you can start using it. Okay, cool. Thank you. Until next time.